All right, we are finally back. Man, it felt like forever. 2 weeks is a long time. Um, but you got to forgive me. I had a change in schedule, working a different shift. So I had to get used to a different sleep pattern. At the same time, keep a very busy schedule, right? But I will make adjustments. But most likely, many of the live streams will be earlier, right? A lot earlier than they used to be. Also, some of you might notice that you have been made a moderator. Now, I make people a moderator when I know they roll with me. And I don't want you to feel obligated to, keep the room free of the trolls. But I want the people who I know roll with this channel. I want them to have the power to remove dog nuts, to remove trolls, and to prevent people from trolling them and disturbing the peace. But just keep in mind, you're not obligated. You don't have to make sure that you're here every time I do a live stream. It's just for the people who I know roll with this channel, and they've been supporting this channel for a long time, right? And I know there's a few people who I've forgotten. Just give me time. I will get it together. But this is a big topic for me because the propaganda doesn't stop. It's never ending, right? We all know that all too well. I can't even pay attention to dog information for a long time because I'll get infuriated in no time, and I just don't like to be upset so often. I need a break. I need to be happy, you know. I need to distance myself from the insanity of this disgusting culture. We have to keep in mind we're dealing with a bunch of psychopaths. These people are extremely disturbed individuals who have a very low value for human life. And they threaten the quality of our life, everyone in the community. They threaten our very existence, to be honest. And we need to be aware of this and not fall for the propaganda, right? Shout out to Richard Monroe, made a donation to the channel. And this propaganda is so heavy and influential that people grow into adults and they are still under the influence of this propaganda. And the propaganda goes against common sense. Common sense. Now, many of you might recognize this scene here. I recently watched this movie. It's called The Omen, either Omen or The Omen. Right? Maybe some of you have seen this movie. And of course, it had some mutts in it. And what stood out to me is a scene where this guy, I believe he was the lead actor in the movie, him and another gentleman, they were attacked by two dogs. And I believe this is a Rottweiler, but this is a big dog. The other dog was also a big Rottweiler looking dog. So the dogs chase them down, and the dogs start to bite them. They attacked them. The dogs actually caught up with them and started to attack them, bit them on the leg, bit their arms, right? And I've seen this several times in movies. And eventually they fight the dogs off. And then the two men who were attacked by these dogs walk away. They go on about their mission as if nothing happened. And this is huge propaganda. Huge propaganda. Because they project this idea that dog attacks won't cause much damage. You won't need medical attention. Anybody notice that? People in movies, they get attacked by dogs, and then they fight the dogs off, and then they go on about their business. No, you're going to be incapacitated. You're going to be neutralized. You're going to need medical attention. See, they project this idea that dogs are like mosquitoes, where you can be attacked by them and then go on about your business. Oh, those pesky dogs. Don't mind those dogs. Oh, there goes the little critters, the dogs. No, these are lethal killers. Lethal killers. And they sink their teeth inside of your flesh and rip your flesh to shreds. Let's not downplay dog attacks, especially from Rottweilers. It infuriated me. I had to pause the movie and get over the anger that that scene instilled into me. How dare you project a dog attack like that? And see, the thing is, that mentality is present in these dog nuts. That's why they allow dogs around their kids. People are heavily influenced by the television. And the way dogs are projected as angels, man's best friend, people really get their understanding, form their perception of dogs primarily through the television. And it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. They should always project dogs as exactly what they are: lethal, brainless, out of control predators that are actually mutants. They are not normal animals. Not normal animals. Their behavior, their temper, you can't find another like it anywhere in the animal kingdom. Not even among other predators. Not even other predators behave like dogs. Dogs deserve nothing less than complete extermination, mass euthanization. I don't care how they're taken out. Fire, if the police force wants to use baseball bats, I don't care. But one thing I know is they need to be gotten rid of. This entire planet needs to be dog free. Dog free. Now, one big chunk of propaganda is the dog attacks themselves. They're really downplayed, almost swept under the rug by these dog nuts and the media, which is full of dog nuts. The media is full of dog nuts, and it really makes me sick to my stomach, these people. Now, we know the stats, but let's deal with them briefly for a moment. About 5 million dog bites per day in the United States alone. People, that is a lot. That is unbelievably high. 5 million per year is very high. That means there are over 13,000 per day. Over 13,000 dog bites per day. See, they like to downplay dog attacks. You hear a lot of these dog nuts, they'll say that, oh, dog attacks are rare. You can't listen to these people. Don't even try to argue with them. You can drop the facts, But don't spend too much time going back and forth with these brain damaged people. They're just as brain damaged as their worthless mutts. Over 13,000 dog bites per day in the United States. That's nothing short of a war. That is war. Over 2,000 emergency room visits per day. Now, this is a big one because, you know, some dog bites, they're minor. It's just a little nip, but a nip is all it takes to break your skin, and that wound can get infected. So even the nips are dangerous. But let's roll with the emergency room visits. This is serious, no matter how you chalk it up. And when you consider over half the victims are children, this is something that we should not tolerate, period. It's an outrage that these things are legal. Over 2,000 emergency room visits per day in this country. Now just imagine if I asked you to put 2,000 dots on a map of the United States. Wouldn't that seem like a lot of dots? What if I told you to draw 2,000 circles? Over 2,000 is about 40 circles per state. Wouldn't you think that that is a lot? That is a lot. That's overwhelming. And that is how many people are victims of serious dog bites that require medical attention on a daily basis. Do not let these people downplay the seriousness of dog attacks. No, this is a crisis. This is really a national emergency. And I'm always surprised that I'm one of the few handful people here, online, anywhere, speaking out against this and speaking against the presence, the mere presence of dogs in our society. People, that's a lot. And when you say that it happens every day, what if I told you to do that every day? Every day you have to draw 2,000 circles, 40 circles per state on a map. Wouldn't that be a burden? Nobody wants to do that. That is a lot. Don't let any of these people try to downplay. And of course, as we all know, they focus on deaths. Whenever they say, oh, dog attacks are rare, no, they're just talking about death. These people are not bright. Do not pay them any attention. Now, when you have about 20 to 30 mutilations per year, this is where they need reconstructive surgery, no matter if it's their face, their hand, their leg, their flesh has been ripped apart, they need stitches, they need to be put back together. These are very serious injuries. And we're talking about between 70 and 80 of those mutilations per day that require reconstructive surgery. There's nothing minor about this dog crisis. This is very real, and it is very important. This is really, as I've said several times, a child sacrificial cult, because children are the primary victims of dog attacks. Do you know, as humans, as organisms, I've talked about this before, we have to do certain things. Certain things are just required from you as a living organism. You have to breathe, you have to eat, you have to sleep. One of the things that we have to do is protect our young with everything in our might. All living organisms do this, whether it be mammals or insects. The only living organisms that don't do it is humans. We cannot tolerate that. We cannot accept that. That's unacceptable, because we are the most intelligent group of people on this planet. I'm not sure what happened, but I actually made Gerara the King a moderator. So I don't know what happened there. I'll work on that. But he definitely rocks with this channel as well. So you have to be very, very careful not to fall for the propaganda from these people. Dog attacks are very, very serious. They are not rare. They are overwhelmingly common. Overwhelmingly common. And it is an outrage that we tolerate the presence of these things, welcome them into our homes and around our kids when they have numbers like this, when they are as aggressive as they are. So we're not going to fall for that propaganda. I want to hammer that point home. Nothing about dog attacks is rare. Now, to sort of reinforce that point, I saw this article. This happened recently. And of course, it grabbed my attention. I was like, wow, I've never heard about this happening before. How many people read about this? This mutt dragged this woman into a vehicle's path and she got hit and she was killed. This mutt actually killed her. So it was obviously a strong, big, strong mutt and a relatively weak lady. She held on to the leash. The stupid mutt went out into traffic, into the street, and she was killed. She was hit and killed. Now, the sad part about this is how her death impacts society. This is sad. Because the fact is, whether you want to admit it or not, the community is now a safer place. Because now this woman is no longer there with her dog. Now you don't have to worry about her dog escaping, about her dog attacking anyone in the community. That is very unfortunate. You know you're engaged in something that's wrong when your death results in increased safety of everybody in your community. Think about that. This woman's community is a safer place now that she is gone. So I want to say to my fellow humans, do not engage in behavior where everyone is safer if you are to be killed. If you ever want to know if your behavior is positive or negative, ask yourself that simple question. Will people be better off if I were to die? Or will they be worse off? Right? If I were to die today, I could no longer communicate with people here on the internet. That would be unfortunate. That would have a negative impact on the population. Right? So I know I'm doing something positive. So this is very deep. Very deep. And I just want to touch on a few stories because there's so many stories. People keep up with the news. You know, it's nonstop. 3 dogs mauled teenage girl to death in southwest of London. Now, people, when I talk about these dog attacks, also keep in mind these are the worst possible attacks. You're talking about a teenage girl. You're talking about a relatively old human being. It's going to take a while for them to die. I mean, this is the worst death you ever want to endure. One of the worst ways to die. Now, if it's a baby, a dog can crush their skull. The baby will pass in no time. But even with babies, they take a while to die. When you're dealing with teenagers, people, this is flat out torture. Torture. And if your nation is, you know, upright, if your people are people of integrity and morals, you would not create the conditions for anyone, especially your youth, to be tortured. These people, we have to look at dog attacks as torture. These are horrific killings. These victims took a long time to die. Yeah, most likely the dog did not latch on to their neck, their vital organs immediately. It took a very long time. And I thought this was eerie, the way this mutt that had killed someone is sitting there looking out of the window at the authorities. People, these are domestic terrorists. Dogs are domestic terrorists. And by default, so are their owners. And they're completely out of their minds. They are fully brainwashed by the propaganda. We're going to get into it because it's so brainless and embarrassing. The things that attract people to dogs is ridiculous. So that was a very crazy story. Omaha police. Dog bites 2-year-old in the face just days after being adopted from a shelter. Once again, no regulation with these mutants. Anybody can purchase one. We don't care who lives in your home. We don't care if there's children in your home or not. We don't care if you know how to train dogs, if you have owned a dog or anything. Anybody can get a dog. And we all know there are a lot of violent mutts in shelters. And the propaganda is so thick that these brain damaged people will go to a shelter, purchase a fully grown mutt, bring them home, and leave those dogs alone with their children, unsupervised. Now, if the parent is there, it really doesn't make a difference. I've gone over that before. But most people don't know that. They're not aware of that. It says the homeowner explained that she'd adopted the dog 2 days earlier. The toddler and his older sister were in a bedroom playing with the dog when the mother heard growling and yelling. So the mother is not in the room. She heard growling, she heard yelling. The woman said when she went into the room, she found the dog on top of her son. So this brain damaged woman watching these stupid cartoons, watching these stupid mutt movies, seeing mutts on commercials, totally brainwashed by this propaganda that dogs are harmless, dogs are family, they're loving, so on and so forth. She had the nerve to leave her toddlers alone with a grown mutt that she brought home from a shelter only a couple days prior. That is a type of insanity that is the result of propaganda, of being completely brainwashed. Completely brainwashed. These people, it's hard for me sometimes to articulate what's wrong with them because, to be honest, I really don't know for sure. Right? I'm just assuming that what I'm saying here is correct. But there's definitely some truth that these people are very, very brainwashed. And they're very influenced by the propaganda out here, very much so. Or else she wouldn't have left her. She would have saw that dog as a predator. And she would have said, no, I'm not going to. First of all, she wouldn't have brought it home. And if she did, she would say, okay, well, I can't leave the dog alone with my children. This is not even a dog that she raised from a puppy. That would be a little more understandable, right? You raised it from a puppy. It's been around your kids its whole life. Now it's grown. And she left the dog alone with the kid. No, this is a mutt from the shelter. woman left alone with her toddler. There's no excuse for that. There is no excuse for that level of irresponsibility, of brainlessness. Another reason, this was yesterday. Dog attacks 5-year-old disabled boy eating a sandwich in a park. You know, this is for all of you dog nuts who insist that dogs are harmless. These are out of control, brain damaged, bloodthirsty, lethal predators with extreme anger issues. I mean, extreme. Anything can and will set these mutants off. Has nothing to do with how they were raised. So they're walking through a popular destination for picnickers and dog walkers. And then they see a pack of mutts. 7 or more mutts. Off leash. Right? These dogs were attracted by the smell of the boy's sandwich. And they say they appear to be off-leash pets, which they were. One of the dogs tried to snatch the sandwich from the boy's hand, but he resisted. And that is when the boy was attacked. Now, what I want to point out here is the disrespect. The fact that dogs demonstrate to humans that they don't respect them whatsoever. They can't love. But you cannot just walk up to a dog and take its food. That's one of the things they tell you to never do. They tell you to not even get too close to a dog when it's eating. But dogs have no problem walking up to our kids, taking food from them, or you. They will take food from any human because they know humans are stupid. Talked about this before. Dogs won't do that to other dogs. They know that other dogs, there's going to be a fight. Can't just walk up and take their food. They do it to humans. Why do you think they do it to humans but won't do it to other dogs? It's because they view humans as stupid, as dumb. They have no respect for you whatsoever. That infuriates me as well. The fact that these people accept the disrespectful behavior of these worthless mutants. Right? So this is unfortunate. Now somebody left a comment in the comment section. I'm starting to notice in a lot of these articles, there are more and more people who comment on these articles. Right? So hopefully that is a sign of progress, that the word is getting out. People are starting to wake up. But this person said, first of all, it was not a police dog that went after the boy sandwich. This is a dog nut, obviously. It was not a police dog that went after the boy sandwich. So why use a canine picture of one? First of all, it showed a picture of a German Shepherd. Just because the police department used German Shepherds does not mean that that particular photo was of a police dog. But we all know how they bend over backwards to defend dogs. And he says, why doesn't the video match the storyline? Second, the dog was apparently off leash. What is the conclusion? The dog will lose its life because they have an owner who is irresponsible. No. The dog will lose its life because it is aggressive, because it is violent, because it is out of control. And it has no business in society. There are plenty of other animals that are off leash. Why all of a sudden does the dog require a leash? It's because they are the most violent and out of control creatures on this planet. So the dog will be euthanized because the dog deserves it. They deserve it. Every dog on this planet deserves to be euthanized, exterminated. Not because its owner left it off leash. Don't get me wrong, that is irresponsible, of course. But I don't want to sound as if I co-sign with the presence of dogs at all. I don't. But it has nothing to do. See, they want to project the idea that the dog is innocent. The dog is harmless. It's just that irresponsible owner. No. The dogs carry out the attacks. They are the aggressors, the physical aggressors. So something needs to be done about dogs, even before they attack. And that's what I'm all about. The extermination of these mutants. He went on to say the attack wasn't on the, listen, he said the attack wasn't on the boy, but on the boy's sandwich. Direct quote, the attack wasn't on the boy, but his sandwich. When he fought back, that's when the dog got more aggressive with him. Sad situation for everyone involved. Wow. The dog didn't attack the boy, it attacked the sandwich. This is the brainlessness of these brainwashed dog nuts who are just, overcome by propaganda. Many of them, they hear these talking points or they'll read these talking points online and they try to relay them to other people and they screw up. You can tell this guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. What you mean the attack was on the sandwich? That mutt was not attacking the sandwich. Wanted to eat the sandwich. What are you talking about? It attacked the boy because the boy wouldn't let him eat the sandwich. But again, these worthless mutants that deserve to be exterminated will walk right up to you and take your food. But they will not allow you to do the same. They won't allow you to do that to them. Now, I talked about this story, I believe, on the last live stream. Right? How many people remember this? It's been going through the news for quite a while now. Springfield family mourns the loss of always smiling and cheerful 1-year-old after dog attack. This child was killed by a worthless mutt. Child's name was a miracle. These disgusting people infuriate me to no end. Family members said the baby got too close to the dog while the dog was eating from a food bowl. 2 teenage uncles had to pry the dog off of her. So once again, a bunch of idiots, brain dead dog nuts, bring a mutt into their home. A home where kids are present, babies, toddlers are present, which is a crime. Make no mistake, it's a crime. And we see the results. This child was killed, was murdered by this worthless mutt. And they had the nerve to say that the dog's behavior was out of character. You have to scratch your head and wonder what's going on inside the head of these people to make statements like this. That's how it always goes down. The dog, one day, attacks. There is no line of characteristics that the dog should stay within. What do you mean it was out of character? No, it was within its character as a predator, as a lethal predator. That is what they do. They kill, they attack. You really have to be brainwashed yourself to expect these things to behave like humans, even if you raise them from puppies. This dog had been with their family for about 4 years. 4 years. We've heard these types of stories by the dozens, probably hundreds by now. We've heard stories like this. Dog has never attacked anyone. Oh, we've never seen it behave like that. Yeah, and just one day it up and kills or attacks, mutilates a baby or a child. Is it worth it? No. But of course, these dog nuts believe it was. But these people don't really care about their kids. It's all a bunch of nonsense because their kids don't feed their ego the way dogs do. You know, human babies don't fuel their narcissism the way dogs do. That's why they appreciate dogs more than kids. Baby, and I hope I have dog nuts listening to this video. This is what you do. You get off on the attention that these food obsessed mutants give you, and this is why you are in love with them. Serious problems. And as always in this article, nobody, not even the parents, spoke out against owning dogs, against keeping dogs around kids. This is when you know you have a serious epidemic, a serious problem, that you're dealing with a cult, a real life cult. It's like a law among them. No matter what happens, you do not speak against the presence of dogs. Never do it. Never do. The most they'll say is that this can happen to anyone. Right? Be careful. It can happen to anyone. But they never suggest to other dog owners to get rid of their dog, especially if they have kids. That's like a ritual or it's a law, right? They are a cult, and that is a part of their scripture. Never speak against the existence of dogs. Well, this story had another part to it. One of that child's grandmothers was engaged to a man who bred the type of dog that killed the baby. They call them pocket bullies. Now, I had never even heard of this breed. They have an endless number of breeds for these worthless, ugly, disgusting mutants. But he was a breeder of these pocket bullies. These two dogs are seen on her fiance's page. So one of the grandmothers was engaged to a pocket bully breeder, and he posted these photos on his page. And lo and behold, here's the grandmother herself. Mommy fur baby, right? In response to this ugly, nasty, disgusting looking demonic mutant. I seriously hate the way these things look. I get infuriated just by the sight of these nasty looking ugly mutants. I don't know if I'm alone, but sometimes I get so angry. I wonder why I'm getting so angry just at the appearance of these things. I'm serious. Look at these things. I become so infuriated. And she, on the other photo, my baby. So it's these types of people that we see all the time on social media making these stupid comments. My baby, my fur baby. It's these same people whose mutts end up killing, attacking. Right? So you cannot listen to these people. Do not go into their homes. Do not trust these people. They're going to try to persuade you to come into their home. They're going to say, oh, he doesn't bite. Do not trust these people. Kids, if you're listening, tell your parents that you don't like dogs. You want them to get rid of it. If they don't have one and they want to get one, you tell them you don't want one. And you always let them know that you don't like dogs. When you see them, you let them know that. They're going to try to get you to rub a mutt, which does nothing for you. What do you get out of that? rubbing a nasty, stupid, stinking, disgusting, disease-ridden, ugly, sloppy-faced mutt. Dogs are not even receptive to you rubbing on them. They have no idea what physical affection is. And they're really the only animals on this planet like that, in my opinion. So this was disgusting, and it infuriated me. And it was reported the child's mother lived at her grandmother's home. So this lady was up in the house. She's shacked up with some pocket bully breeder. She's pretending to be the mother of these child killers. And that is what your dog is, all you dog nuts listening. Your dogs are child killers. And you are a lover of a child killer, of a child predator. We're not going to put sugar on anything here. Dogs that mauled New Jersey boy, 3 years old, mauled him to death, belonged to the neighbors, right? Seriously injured his mother on top of that. They somehow got past the fence and into the yard of an adjacent home where the toddler and his mother were playing. Now this flies in the face, as I've talked about before, in the face of this narrative that you have to provoke dogs, that you have to wander on their territory. No, dogs will come into your territory. They'll leave their territory, come into your territory, violate your space just to attack you. No other animal does that. None. As humans, we should all hate dogs. We should all hate them. It really infuriates me. It infuriates me to see people taking these stupid selfies with dogs, praising dogs. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that a little bit more too on this stream. Because that's another part of their dysfunction. Humanizing these child killers. Right? And an 85-year-old woman, this was just reported a few minutes ago, a couple hours ago. 85-year-old woman who was killed by some dogs. And I report these, I want to share these reports because it reinforces what I've been saying ever since I've been on this channel, that dogs are obsessed with attacking people. As soon as they get free, the first thing they want to do is find somebody to attack. And any deadly creature with that type of behavior, they should not exist in our territory. We as men, it's not macho to own dogs. It's macho to keep them out of your society. We have to redefine manhood and masculinity. That's masculine. Do not let these things around your kids. Do not let them in your neighborhood. Do not speak highly of them. Find some other animal to admire. When you see these nasty, gross-looking mutants, ugly, these things are an insult to animals in general. What other animal is this nasty and ugly looking? This looks like a huge genetic mistake. Let's be real here. Nature did not create this thing, and it would not. It baffles my mind nonstop how people find these things visually attractive and even stupid enough, brainwashed enough, overcome by enough propaganda to kiss these things. This is so disgusting. I want to emphasize again, do not date people who are dog lovers. Stay away from these nasty, disease-ridden, weird people. But you get the signs and you get the warnings non-stop from these mutants. This was from I believe the shelter information that they provide. They say they call the dog a meathead, right? This lovable meathead still has a lot of puppy energy, but he doesn't realize how big he is. Due to his size and lack of manners, he will need to go to an adult-only home where he's the only pet. Before going home, he will need to be neutered and updated on his vaccinations. Experienced owner or rescue only. What is up with all these precautions? With man's best friend, with the most lovable creatures. What is with this? No kids in the home. No, you can't have kids. Can't have other animals in the home. Experienced only. It just shows you that these things have no business in our society. It's sad that I have to tell people this, because everything that surrounds dogs tells you they have no business in our society. All these warnings. You know, the example I gave where people will lose their mind if they see a pack of dogs approaching a playground full of kids. If you didn't know anything about dogs and they told you, oh, dogs are loving, oh, dogs are man's best friend, and then you saw dogs approaching a playground full of kids, and then you saw the adults jump up and panic, you would be like, well, what's the problem? What's everybody getting excited for? They're just dogs. The animals that you just told me were so lovable and man's best friend. How do you think these dog nuts would explain that? Oh, well, you have to train them, you know, and they have to be socialized. These idiots would start mumbling and bumbling all over the place, trying to justify their complete insanity. This was another one. These articles from these shelters are just scary. It's another thing. Y'all support dogsbite.org. So I got a few of these stories from dogbites.org. I try to make a point once a month to go over there and give a little donation to keep that site going, because they are dedicated and they stay on top of the news. So I found this as well. Owner of this dog in Bridgewater, Massachusetts, recently shared this post about a different dog. It says, due to a past bite history, Blaze, the dog, has been in a 7-month retraining program. Will do well in a home that sticks to his training routine. What are you talking about? And somebody included that means impulsive aggression. They always speak in code at these shelters. Well, the dog is a little excited. That means it will bite your head off. What's with all these precautions with these things if they're so harmless? If they're man's best friend, oh, those pesky dogs. If you get attacked by one, oh, don't worry, you'll be able to just stand up, walk off, go on about your business like they do in movies. Right? We got to tackle this propaganda. And I'm telling you, people, these dog nuts, their insanity never ceases to amaze me. I mean, it baffles me how crazy, completely out of their mind they are. Now I want y'all to listen to this. Listen to how crazy this psycho woman is. See if we got volume.
Live from Tampa Bay streaming news leader, this is ABC Action News, taking action for you.
Seeing a dog that's just a really sweetheart get shot like this, there's no words.
All new at 11 tonight, an ABC Action News exclusive. A Tampa woman's call for help ends with her dog being shot by police. And tonight we have the video of that shooting. And it's important to note here the dog did survive and is recovering tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Paul LeGrone in for Jameson.
And I'm Wendy Ryan. Thank you for joining us. That dog's owner speaking only to ABC Action News reporter Ryan Smith about how a 911 call ended like this. So, Ryan, what did she have to say?
Well, tonight, that distraught dog owner telling me she is now calling on TPD for some answers and, of course, accountability. TPD confirming to me tonight that shooting leading to an internal investigation. And tonight, we got our hands on that body cam video showing those tense moments unfolding.
She went right to the gun to shoot my dog. And my dog, she could have done pepper spray. She could have done anything else.
Too emotional to be on camera, Rachel Robledo replays the terrifying moments. A Tampa police officer opened fire on her 6-year-old pit bull, Nala.
And the female cop just went boom, boom with the 9mm.
March 17th, the South Tampa librarian called police about a suspected gunman at a nearby apartment. Police say when they couldn't locate a suspect, 2 officers went to speak with her directly.
See something, say something. I ran home and I called them. I expected them to help me.
Video released by Tampa police shows Robledo trying to keep Nala back, but within seconds of the dog getting out, the officer fires 2 shots.
Exactly why a police officer would find it necessary to shoot a dog, why was that the first reaction? I cannot imagine that Nala would ever approach anyone in an aggressive manner.
Nala underwent surgery last week and is recovering. Tampa police stating Tuesday the officer responded to the threat of a pit bull running toward her and took immediate action to keep herself safe. While no officer wants to fire at a dog, it presented a perceived threat to the officer at the time.
If the police department's going to treat a librarian like this, who is trying to be a good citizen, they're going to shoot their dog and almost kill her. And she's only alive by God's grace.
Listen to that. First of all, listen to her fake cries. That's one of the worst, attempts at crying I've ever heard. I can't even see her face. Just listening to her, you could tell she's faking. She's not really crying. She's trying to cry. But this woman is a librarian. And she said, oh, for someone to treat a librarian like this. People, it's unfortunate that that dog lived. Very unfortunate that that mutt is still alive. Hats off to the cop who shot that worthless, aggressive mutt that ran out of the door that this silly woman could not control. If you're serious about keeping people safe, you would make sure that mutt is in a different room before you open the front door, just like the post office suggested to them to do. But of course, these people are irresponsible. They own dogs, which shows you how irresponsible and brain dead they are. And when the cop showed up to her door, this mutt, what did it want to do? It wanted to attack. Ugly, worthless, mutant, got exactly what it asked for. The dog wanted smoke. It wanted confrontation. It wanted to attack someone. And it ran into 2 bullets. 2 bullets. Look at this worthless woman. Look at how just lazy and irresponsible she is. Just totally inequipped to deal with, but who is? Nobody is properly equipped to deal with these predators. I don't care if it's a bodybuilder. You have no business with these things. And what do you expect that cop to do? She said the cop could have used pepper spray. Are you serious? Are you out of your mind? No. When a lethal predator like this comes at you, you want to neutralize it. Pepper spray might not do that. We've seen dogs get pepper sprayed and just walk right through it. No, the cop did the right thing. I don't want to hear about a taser. We've seen dogs get tasered. and they're not incapacitated. They're still on the attack. So this police officer did what she was supposed to do. She put the mutt down. And I hope nothing happens to this police officer for this incident. Right? For this incident. And hopefully, every cop that is attacked, that has a dog charging at them like, and this is a pit bull. It's unbelievable how these people expect us to not defend ourselves, even if a pit bull is charging you. These people are completely out of their mind. And this woman is a librarian. So these lunatics exist in all aspects of society. It's very scary. And these people will express how deranged they are in many different ways. We'll get into it. But let's look at a real animal. A real natural animal. Bigger than dogs. And I want you to observe the behavior of these
Your
animals.
daily dose of internet. This guy went to go get his mail from the mailbox when a wild deer saw him and started following him.
He went to get mail from a mailbox, and a wild deer started following him. Of course, she's having sex with this thing all out in the open, all rubbing all over. I don't rub on animals, but you see how docile, harmless
Turns out that
this deer is. Do you think a dog, especially if it was this size, a wild dog, will behave
deer
like
is
that?
super friendly and even started munching on some fries on the floor of this car.
I don't even know what to think, man. That's crazy.
See, it's not behaving like a dog. It's not frantic, hopping around, wiggling around, looking in all
I found
directions,
this guy on the
or
internet.
breathing all hard, acting crazy.
Wild deer saw him and started
It
following him.
has composure. It's not violent. It's not trying to attack people. Look at this. Now, if this man is crazy, I would not even have done this. And these are male deer. These are bucks. And he got his kids. Man, what? Not like I know that these are deers. But why would you sacrifice your kids? Who does this, man? Who does this? I have no respect for people who do that. So this idiot gave his kids a piece of bread. It looks like a piece of bread, a piece of toast or something. And they're holding it out for the deer. These are grown bucks. Look at how calm they are. Look at the composure. Sort of like a cat behaves. Nothing like a dog.
And that's why they're going away.
Like I said, if you just look at the way dogs behave, you can see they're not natural. They're not normal. Now, what I want you to notice is these grown male bucks are actually afraid. They're afraid. They want the food, but they're afraid to go get it. And it takes them a very long time to muster up the courage to get it. But look, see how it backed up?
You to be still.
It's scared.
If
It's
you drop
nervous.
it again, just leave
Do you
it on the
think
ground.
a dog, especially a dog that size, would behave like that? All you dog nuts, dogs are not normal animals.
move.
These are normal animals.
Don't move.
This is normal animal
Back
behavior.
up one step slowly.
I need people to get out of
Now,
this
stick your hand out with your other
mindset
no,
of, looking at
Stick your
dogs
other hand
as
out with your
normal animals, a part of the animal kingdom. They are not. They are
Stick it out further
mutants
so he doesn't
that
nibble your
nature did
fingers.
not intend to exist
now
on
be
this
still,
planet.
don't
Now
move.
watch this. It ate the food already. He sees that the boy is not trying to harm him,
Andrew,
but this buck,
Ethan's gonna take
this
a step
fully grown
backwards.
buck, is still nervous.
Okay, stop.
Watch
Ethan,
this.
take one more step backwards by your brother. No, Ethan, that's his bread. Ethan, move. Step back, Ethan. Towards your brother. Andrew, stop. Ethan, stop. Andrew, take one step forward. There you go.
Look at him. Perfectly still. Just look at the behavior of these things. And when dogs are said to be nervous, full of anxiety, you can see it in their behavior. They're running all over the place, turning in circles, acting wild and crazy. Now look at this. Look at that buck. Scared.
Ethan,
Still scared. A dog would have mutilated these kids by now. A dog that size, you got food, that mutt would have killed you. Now, how many of you have seen this? How many of you have seen this? This big, nasty, country redneck tackled a baby deer that wandered inside. Check this out. These people disgust me to no end.
A photo of a deer being subdued by a man inside of a Wadena Walmart has gone viral. According to the incident report, the deer was located by, where else? The pet section on May 16th.
You can find just about anything at Walmart.
I heard the crash and I thought it was like a shelf falling over on on a lady because she screamed.
But the superstore's hairiest guest
I didn't think it was real.
has the whole town talking, sharing, and screenshotting.
Yeah, I was surprised. Normally people don't screenshot my stuff.
This picture has quickly gained traction after the 7:30 incident. Shoppers say the little deer's deal hunt was likely a search for a snack.
I came in through the garden doors just running, and she must have been like eating the flowers or something.
This is the time of year.
So this deer went inside of a Walmart. People everywhere. People everywhere. Didn't attack anybody. Nobody was afraid. This ain't no dog. So you can miss me with this narrative that dogs are loving. If we had hearts like dogs, the world would be a better place and all this nonsense. Dogs are nothing like normal animals.
Young deer are left to fend for themselves. The confused animal must have wandered into this semi-rural supercenter.
Or what do we do now? And I'm like, oh, well, I'll take a photo.
Tom Grasswick of Deer Creek says he was just trying to save a...
Look at this piece of filth. Who tackled that deer? You already know what I'm going to point out here. This piece of filth got the heads of deer in his home. He's a hunter. He hunts deer.
Like somebody slugged me on the side of the head.
He says it was just instinct to subdue the 100-pounder.
I figured I was bigger than him. I got win that wrestling match.
People, can
After
y'all imagine?
I figured I was bigger than him.
Can y'all imagine if
He
this
says
big country dude tackled and did a dog like that? Don't you think some of these dog nuts would have complained if he would have tackled a dog like that and restrained a dog like that? Right, that's first of all. On top of that, listen to this. Listen to what they did.
It was just instinct to subdue the 100-pounder.
I figured I was bigger than him. I got win that wrestling match. So
After tackling the young buck, Grasswick and a few others covered its eyes before letting it free outside.
Before letting it free outside. You think they would have did a dog like that? You think they would have let a dog just go free outside? Why don't we just let dogs go free outside like we do all the other natural animals? Because dogs are not normal, not natural. They are the most violent, most aggressive, most dangerous living organisms on our planet, bar none. They do not deserve affection, food, shelter. The only thing they deserve is euthanization. They deserve to be euthanized, nothing else. They are child predators. Child predators. We need to get that through our heads. And it makes me happy to see people who are getting fed up with the mere sight of these ugly, worthless mutants. Because a lot of times I feel like it's just me who gets infuriated, right? But I believe I found this on Reddit, Dog Free on Reddit. This person said they unfollowed some Instagram fitness accounts that are full of dog photos, and I don't blame them. Said he has no issue watching a home workout with a dog in the background, but I'm not interested in watching them doing dog-friendly workouts or workouts both of you and your dog can do together. Stuff like that infuriates me as well. Like, I follow athletes as well, and I get a lot of tips, workout tips and stuff like that from them. And I've unfollowed many of them because they just post too many photos of their ugly, nasty, stinking, worthless child predator mutts. It says the video in his feed today from a popular fitness guru just had me hitting unfollow button. Yes, it was way too much dog dotting. Sometimes dog's presence irritates me everywhere. Yes. This is therapeutic for me to read stuff like this. It really is. Because I know I'm not alone. A lot of people, they come to this channel and they say the same thing. Oh, I'm so glad I found this channel. Thought I was all alone. Listen, even the host of this channel, I say that to this day all the time. Man, it feels good that I am not alone. Like, not only, I'm continuing with this guy's comment. He said, not only I have to meet these things, talking about dogs on the streets every day, but when I want to relax and watch whatever kind of video, there are suddenly dogs in it. Everywhere you look, and it makes me sick. I try to sit down, enjoy a movie. Here's a dog. They have to sneak a dog in there somehow. I like it when it's subtle, but people forget the point of the video and start talking about their dog. Yeah, they forget about the workout. Everything becomes about this worthless, ugly, stinking, doofus, brainless mutt. I don't understand this obsession. People got to get... This is a true cult. That's true cult behavior. Somebody else says, sometimes I feel like I'm on an alternate earth where everything is backwards. And I've talked about this. I've said this. We're so backwards. Treating your dog like a human being is socially acceptable. He's saying that is backwards instead of extremely cringe-worthy. And that is what it is. Treating your mutt like a human is cringe-worthy. Taking a picture of them, uploading mutts photos to social media is cringe-worthy. You talking to that mutt is weird. It is cringe-worthy. And I'm going to always assume that you dog nuts are having intercourse with your dogs. Like I said before in another stream, you all deserve it. You deserve that type of assumption from civilized people. Because it's weird, it's nasty, and we know for a fact that there are plenty of people actually having intercourse with dogs, and we are not going to give any of you the benefit of the doubt. Right? And their weirdness, their brainwashery, it extends into different ways. I saw this article and it infuriated me. Pretty old, it's 3 years old, 4 years old. Why dogs are replacing men in women's hearts. Now, let's be clear. Dogs are replacing women in men's hearts as well. I don't care if you're male or female. I don't trust any of these dog nuts. I'm going to assume that you have actual intercourse, penetration with that mutt in private. If it's not actual sexual penetration, it is some other type of sexual behavior. I don't know. I don't trust these people who get undressed in front of dogs, walk around in their panties in front of dogs. To me, that's sexual. If you are with a coworker, you would not do that. That would be inappropriate. So it's inappropriate for you to do it in front of a dog. It's sexual, psychosexual behavior. That's the type of relationship these people have with these mutants. All these dog lovers are nasty. And we need to put emphasis on the nastiness of their lives. These are nasty, disgusting people. A significant percentage of women who answered this survey admitted that they preferred dogs over men because the dog came closer to their idea of a perfect companion than men. In addition, 75% admitted to turning to their dog when they felt sad, and 80% felt more secure with their mutt. Fellas, you got to understand this, and I'm saying the women got to understand this as well. This might be a gender bias article, but I have no intention on letting either gender off the hook. I'm dead set against this nasty, disgusting, immoral cult. I don't care who is involved. Who is involved? So this crazy article, it said, well, they took this study. Apparently over 600 single people participated. A significant percentage of women who answered the survey admitted they preferred their dog over men. Right? I read that already. When it came to choosing dogs over men, around 60% of the women who participated in the survey believed their dog was more affectionate. Now, how is that possible? How could a dog possibly be more affectionate than a man, than a human? It's not possible. Dogs are not affectionate. Even compared to other animals, dogs are not affectionate. You saw that video where that deer rubbed its head against that human. Cats do that. They understand, affection. They're receptive to it. Dogs are not. You rub on the dog, it just continues on with its behavior as if nothing's happening at all. They're not receptive to that at all. But these dog nuts say that the dog is more affectionate than a man. They say that the dog is more reliable, even more loyal than men. Get a load of that. Loyal, as if the dog has the option to pack up and leave the home. You keep a mutt trapped inside of your home and claim it's being loyal. These people are just out of their minds. They're overcome with propaganda. They're brainwashed by the propaganda. In addition, 75% admitted to turning to their dog when they felt sad, and 80% felt more secure with their worthless mutt. This is a problem. This is a problem. And this is another problem. We've never talked about this on this channel. Unprecedented topic here. I don't know how we've forgotten to cover this, but all of you know it's true. Many of these people will admit it. These crazy people believe their dogs make them look more attractive. That's why they always taking photos and selfies with dogs. Right? Shout out to somebody. It's like somebody else contributed to the Crusader Ministries here. Very much appreciated. How many people have noticed this? And you can tell in their behavior, the way they take these selfies with these mutts, that they believe the dogs enhance their own attractiveness. And there are articles out here about it. Does your dog make you look more attractive? Is the title of this article. The difference the dog made in his success rate was astounding. When he gave his pitch without a dog, 11 out of 120 women were charmed and gave him their number. When he was with a dog, 34 out of 120 women responded to his request. With a dog, his success rate was 3 times as high. And this is just the way it is. This is the depth of these people's insanity. It says people with dogs are often perceived to be more approachable, happier, and more empathetic. Research shows the presence of a mutt can also serve as an indication a man is nurturing and capable of caregiving. Just like when you see someone with a baby, right? This just falls into the same narrative of how they equate dogs with babies. And this would be the case no matter what type of animal the person was with. Because whatever the animal, you have to take care of it, right? And women being natural nurturers, they see that a man is taking care of some animal, regardless of what type of animal it is. Yeah, they're going to come across as all of that. But this really fuels these people's obsession with these mutants. That's why they're always bending over backwards. I shared a few stories, or a couple stories, where that's the first thing these people did when they got home from adopting these mutts. They couldn't wait to get home to take a stupid selfie with that mutt and upload it. We've heard stories about people taking dogs back to the shelter because they did not believe that the dog was photogenic. It didn't look good in photos with them. They got the dog for the sole purpose of taking photos with the dog and uploading it to social media. How insane is that? You know, it's like once you believe you figured out how insane these dog nuts are, they show you that they are even more insane. They get even deeper. It's unbelievable stuff, right? Shout out to Ashley Blackburn, donated to the Crusader Ministries. There is no depth, there is no bottom to their pit of insanity. There's no bottom. You fall continuously. Unbelievable stuff. Of course, a dog is going to make you look more attractive in a photo. Anything ugly and nasty looking is going to enhance your own appearance. Right? That's common sense. But it shouldn't develop into an addiction the way it has today. This is out of control. Out of control at this point. In the human species, we got to snap out of it. And we got to put more pressure on these weirdos. This is weirdo lifestyle. Taking photos with mutts, with carcass scavengers. That's all they are, carcass scavengers, mutated carcass scavengers, food obsessed mutants that are not affectionate. To become obsessed with these things the way humans are today is embarrassing. Nothing short of embarrassing. And the overall behavior of these dog nuts is embarrassing. Infuriating. Right? Very infuriating. Now, somebody sent this to me. I don't remember. Somebody sent this to me in an email. And I was infuriated. Now, I want you to watch this. This idiot is walking through a store with a couple pit bulls. 3. Right? I said a couple. This man has 3 pit bulls. The nerve of these people to come into stores with dogs is really, but they're in a pet store. So I don't know, maybe they're allowed to go into pet stores with mutts. I don't know. But I've seen dogs in grocery stores. Kroger, Meijer, They're supposedly service mutts. Dogs definitely have no business in stores. But this is very irresponsible. Because if these things want to attack anybody or anything, there's nothing that man can do to stop them. What is wrong with these things? Just got their nose on everything. Looking at everything. They act like rodents. Rodents. That's all they are. Overgrown rodents. They're not even true animals, people. Looking for something to eat. Want to sniff on everything. Soulless,
Come on, guys.
brain
Come on,
dead.
Come on, guys. Come on.
You know, it really makes me sick how these dog owners, like the owners of the dogs, her and her little fake laugh and their little fake smiles, you could sense how they're trying to ignore how dangerous the dogs are. These people know how dangerous these things are. They know how dangerous the situation, the atmosphere is. You know, when there are dogs like this present. And they try to ignore it. They try to play it off. But it all comes to light as soon as one of those mutts actually attacks someone. And then it's too late. Then they're sitting around looking stupid and talking stupid. You got to take control. You got to tell these people right to their face to stop putting everybody else in danger and get these worthless mutants out of the store. Why would you bring these things into a pet store? This is a pet store. They're not coming to get anything for the dogs. They're just going to look at pets. It's almost like a zoo. Why would you bring the dogs? For attention. These are a bunch of narcissists. And they will do anything for attention. And that's all they're getting off on. The woman behind the camera and this idiot. All these dog nuts. And you should all be embarrassed. You should feel ashamed. It's embarrassing. And it's a huge sign of insecurity. Always looking for attention.
Yeah, the brother was about half as tall, so we don't know what else was next to him. And Jack Russell's like, please do it with me.
These goofy brain dead mutants. What do y'all love so much about these things? Look at this behavior. Y'all think this behavior is attractive?
Sorry.
They can't sit still
Come
for
on, Penny.
nothing.
Good boy.
It's like they need to be drugged. A lot of these dogs are drugged. A lot of people drug their dogs up to keep them calm, to keep them from going berserk nonstop. So this bumbling idiot is a narcissist like all the rest of the dog nuts. But it gets worse, people. I'm telling you, we're dealing with a bunch of crazy, crazy people. Every aspect of their behavior, for the most part, when you study and you pay close attention to these dog nuts, something is off about them. Something is off about them. All right, check this out.
No, this new Star Wars movies are fucking awful. They're abysmal. Don't even bring up the story. That's the worst part. George Lucas on the verge of a Xanax overdose could write better than the Disney Star Wars. You disagree, huh? Oh, you disagree, huh? So what if the visuals are good? The characters in the new Star Wars movies. Are you kidding me? You have to be joking. If I saw a man at a gas station step on a piece of gum, I'd feel more for that gum than most of those characters.
Ain't he trying a little too hard? He's trying way too hard. Why is he trying to have a conversation with this mutt? Who does this? Who does this? People who are completely out of their minds.
Characters, Tetra.
There's nothing cute about this. I can hear you dog nuts right now talking about how adorable it is. This is not adorable. It's not cute. This is weird. Flat out weird. If you want to have a conversation so bad, go talk to a human.
Don't you take that tone with me. You heard what I said. I'm more emotionally attached to piss stains in a public urinal than those characters. No, don't even get me.
So they had to edit it. So this is going on for a long time. This idiot talking to this mutt.
It started on Fortnite versus PUBG. It's not even worth going down there.
Now, you might not be convinced. These people are completely out of their minds. Now, this was another situation where these idiots brought some pit bulls into a pet store. These pit bull owners are the worst. They are the worst. These people are really seriously unstable and they're very dangerous. That's why I say you should always have your weapon on you. Because unfortunately, they are allowed to carry deadly weapons around themselves, but their weapons have a mind of their own. Now watch this.
Get closer to the ear.
So this mutt is latched on to the other one. Pit bulls. And these idiots standing around shocked, acting surprised. They should not be surprised. This is what these things do naturally.
You gotta do it.
Keep your eye on this woman with the red pants.
Let go, baby. Get him in the nose. There you go. Let go. There you go. Let go. He's hooked. The bottom one's hooked.
You see that? You see that woman in the back?
He's hooked.
Look at her. She starts to break down. She has an emotional breakdown. Oh, the doggies. The doggos are fighting. Oh, this is terrible. Boo-hoo. And she runs over. And another dog nut who clearly understands what she's going through goes over and tries to, rub her on the back and make her feel better. All this is blood on the floor. Blood on the floor. Listen.
Oh my God.
You hear that idiot? Listen.
There you go.
Oh my God.
You hear that idiot? Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't believe this happened. As a human, you should not say things like that. The fact that these humans acted surprised about this speaks to how brainwashed they are. How they are, the victims of propaganda. I don't like to call them victims. Unfortunately, I do, because we're all born into this world. We don't have any control over society. So we're all pretty much victims of the propaganda that's allowed into our homes and stuff like that. But as you grow older and you understand dogs and you understand animals in general, first of all, you should not own these things. And if you do, you should not be surprised when they do what they are born to do, and that is attack. These are predators.
Get him in the nose.
But it infuriated me to see this.
There you go. Let go.
This is so dog nuttery behavior. This woman in these red pants. It's just, they're typical fake. No, doggos are supposed to be angels. They're supposed to be loving. Oh, I can't believe it. This dumb, airheaded broad has an emotional breakdown because dogs are fighting like they're supposed to do. This level of stupidity is unacceptable. It's unacceptable, people. And it should not get this far. Should not get this far. Just like that mutt was latched onto the face of another mutt, it could be latched on to your child's face. Do you care? No, you don't. You're going to take the chance anyways. You're not stupid. You know full well that the dog could attack your child or anyone's child. Do you care? No, you don't. No, you don't. You're going to take the chance anyways because the dog's presence is more important than the child's safety from the dog. Right? And that makes you the lowest of the low. You are the absolute scum of the planet. That you don't get any more trifling than that. Any organism that deliberately, knowingly puts their offspring in danger, you are the worst of the worst.
By our neighbors' pit bulls, and we've gone through quite a bit this past year. She's had several surgeries. We're gearing up for a really big one where they're going to put a titanium plate in and a skin graft, and they'll sew her eye shut for 3 weeks so that she doesn't lose vision in her good eye. Here's her little mask. She has to wear it 16 hours, so she wears it 8 hours while she sleeps. And then
She got to wear this thing for 16 hours a day. 16 hours.
and 4 and 4. It pushes the scarring down to kind of break up that hard scarring. It's been a rough year. When something like this happens, basically your life just stops. I mean, you're stuck in this loop where everything revolves around the tragedy. Zoe's been a fighter through this whole time. We're both terrified of dogs now, though, unfortunately.
She said they're both terrified of dogs now. Now, that is a step in the right direction at the least. At the least. But the thing is, for making that statement, she will be attacked by other dog nuts. How dare you say that? Terrified of dogs. Don't say that. You ask these dog nuts, was it worth it? This child's got to wear this mask 16 hours a day, underwent countless surgeries. Was it worth it? These dog nuts, of course it was. As a matter of fact, we're going to keep the dogs in the house around the same child that got mutilated. And on top of that, we're going to pose that child that was mutilated in a photo with more dogs. That's how insane these dog nuts are.
Been a fighter through this whole time. We're both terrified of dogs now, though, unfortunately.
Not chihuahuas.
But not chihuahuas, she says.
Okay, so she still brings this child around mutts. I guess it's a small mutt. So she's still the same old dog nut that she always is. She's probably lying about being terrified of dogs. I'm quite sure every now and then when she's alone, at least, she'll trust a mutt and go up and rub on it.
There's a pit bull attack almost every day. Yes, other dogs can attack, but other dogs don't do the same kind of damage.
Now, you knew that before you got the mutt. You took the chance anyway. I don't want to hear no sob story like that. You took the chance anyway. Why? Because you felt the dog's presence is more important than protecting the child from the dog. Dog's presence was more important than preventing something like this from happening. People like that, you are sick. You are the lowest of the low. You are the absolute filth of this planet. It does not get any lower than that.
And if it's not a service dog, please don't take it into an establishment where it says clearly no animals.
I don't care if it is a service mutt. They attack as well. I don't want to hear this service mutt nonsense. We don't need dogs. People with disabilities, they can find another way to get help or assistance. This idea that we need dogs for anything is nonsense. Dogs are too dumb for us to need them for anything.
Loud. Because, I mean, we'll go into a store and we have to turn around and leave because she's freaking out or I'm just panicky. I just wish this wouldn't, I mean.
Missed it wouldn't have happened. I just wish this wouldn't happen. And she caught herself. She stopped herself. Because what would that necessitate? You would have never had the dog to begin with. So she's fighting with her own emotions. The propaganda is that thick. She still has a hard time saying that I wish I never purchased a dog. I wish I never owned one. As if they owe something, some type of loyalty to dogs. This is so sick, animalistic, savage, and primitive. Right? We need to evolve beyond this.
Mickey. I just wish this wouldn't, I mean. Yeah.
She completes the sentence for her mother. She completed that sentence for her. She said, I wish this would have never happened. The only way that wouldn't have happened if you never brought that mutt around in the first place.
And I want to thank everybody that has helped us, because we wouldn't be able to do these surgeries, because this is all out-of-pocket expense going and getting.
Man, there is no way I would take the chance of this happening to my child. I wouldn't take the chance of this happening to my neighbor's child, to a child I don't even know. It is not going to happen. There's nothing that a mutt offers me that is worth taking a chance like this over. Anything you think is worth it that comes from that mutt, you need to re-examine that. Because most likely you're obsessed over something that does you no good. There's no benefit in being licked by no mutt. None whatsoever. Matter of fact, you're just exposing yourself to diseases and germs. Now, you might still not be convinced how brain dead these dog nuts are. Now, I got this video from the YouTube channel Worthless Mutts. Right, I like to stroll over to that channel every now and then. I will find some interesting videos from time to time. And I saw this video and it was too much. I had to watch it a few times. I just could not believe it. Watch this. Did you see that? Watch this. Now, during this time right here, she's talking to the dog as if the dog is a human. You see they're sitting at a table with the dog as if the dog is a human. She's running her mouth right now and looking at the dog intermittently. You see that? Flapping her stupid dog nut gums, blah, 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 talking to a mutt. Then she reaches over to hug it, and it snaps at her. I want you to also pay attention to the man, the owner. He tries to caution her, and she does not take heed. Look at his hand. See how he holds up his hand like that? He does it again. You see that? After the dog snapped at her, right there. It snapped at her right there. She jumps back. And after she jumps back, he warns her for a second time. He's telling her, no, why don't you just chill out, go on about your business? But she's such a brain-damaged, doofus, goofy dog nut. Like all of these weirdo, idiotic, brain-damaged dog nuts are. No. She wants to try again. So what she does, she leans over and offers the dog her face. She wants the dog to lick on her face after it snapped at her. Now, as dumb as dogs are, you have to imagine that even the dog thought she was dumb. Even the dog. Watch. See? She bent her stupid face over, put it in front of this mutt. Here, go ahead and lick me. Here, give me a kiss. And the mutt bit her square in the face. And she deserved a lot worse than that. You bumbling idiot. You brain dead idiot. I cannot believe dog lovers are proud that they embrace this type of behavior. They're proud of the fact that they behave like this. These dog nuts. I just thought this was a very epic video because there was a lot that took place. The dog is looking away from her. You know, dogs take it as a threat when you look at them in the face. She keeps staring at this mutt in the face. Dog's looking away. She's talking, running her stupid mouth, treating the dog like a human. It's not a human, you dingbat. Then she tries to hug it. Where is her brain right now? Is she not a bumbling idiot? It snaps at her. It gives her a clear warning. Clear warning. She backs up. The dog warned her. The man warned her for a second time. And what does this stubborn, narcissistic, idiotic woman do? Try again, because the dog is so loving. Oh no, in its heart, it's a loving being. And oh, it was just a little upset at me. And she leans her stupid face over for the mutt to lick on her face and got exactly what she deserved. This type of behavior, people, it embarrasses me to even see stuff like this. It's embarrassing. It is so shameful. So shameful and embarrassing. You should know better. And you got sick people out here in the world. I showed a few video clips. I believe it was on the most recent live stream of dogs jumping fences. This is very dangerous. These mutts can leap these fences. People, you walk by somebody's front yard, you see mutts, they have a fence. Do not trust that fence. Ever. These mutts can leap those fences. But what I want to focus on here is the guy behind the camera. Listen to this disgusting piece of filth.
Hey, Rocky. Rocky, come here. Come here.
He's saying, come here. He's trying to get the dog to jump over the fence. These people teach their dogs to leap fences.
Come here, Rocky. Rocky, come here. Come here. Come here. Rocky, come here. Come here. Come here. There you go. Come on.
Oh boy. Then he rewards it. When you rub on a dog after it does something, they call that rewarding the dog. You can pet them, say good boy, or you can give them some food. He rewarded that mutt for leaping that fence. These people can buy dogs. It's unregulated. Anybody who wants a dog can just purchase one. They don't know if you're going to teach your dog to jump the fence. They don't care. They don't care who's on the other side of the fence. Right? Anybody could be. Watch this.
Okay. My dog can jump a 6-foot fence.
So he just tells you what it's about to do. Right? Just told on itself.
I'll show you.
A 6-foot fence. You see that? You see that? Right there? There was nothing to keep that dog concealed or on his property. After it jumped that fence, that dog could have spotted someone's child and attacked them. These are the types of things these dog nuts do. They don't care about public safety. They don't care about anyone or anything. These are a bunch of narcs, a bunch of sociopaths who have a indifference for human life. They have no empathy whatsoever, no compassion. They don't care about themselves. They don't care about anyone else. I mean, this idiot taught his mutt to jump the fence, then allows it to jump the fence while he's inside the fence, offering no protection whatsoever. And even if that idiot was on the other side of the fence, if that mutt wanted to attack someone, there is nothing that bumbling idiot could have done to stop it, to save you or protect you or your child. So this is extremely problematic. And what is even worse is that we got one of these bumbling idiots in the White House. People, you just cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. Yeah, I read about that too. I think I've talked about it in the most recent live stream. Somebody talked about the 3-year-old who was killed playing in his own backyard. Yeah. Yeah, I believe I covered that I did cover it, but I think it's on the most recent live stream. And I was just saying, these things, you don't have to invade their territory. You don't have to provoke them. They're not being territorial when they attack you. These things will leave their own territory, come into your property and attack you. Yeah, something's wrong with this moderator. Maybe I'm only allowed to make a few people a moderator, but I made vasectomy fail a moderator as well. So I'll see what's going on with that. But yeah, I talked about that. And that's a huge problem. We got to stay on top of stories like that, where people are on their own property, minding their own business, and out of nowhere, here comes a mutt attacking them. So what type of aggression is this now? It's not territorial. It's not food aggression. What is this? This is just insanity at this point. Absolute insanity. These things are completely out of control, violent like no other living organism is on this planet. All right, shout out to Duke of Sardines. That's a hell of a name. Donated to the Crusader Ministries. He says, they love dogs more than humans. I think something deep and sinister is going on with this dog-loving cult. It's yes. And it's hard to put your finger on it. I've been trying to study these people for years, and I still feel like I don't have a complete grasp on what's wrong with these people. It can get frustrating at times because I want to know in full, like, what's going on in these people's minds. That way we can actually deal with the problem, but it's hard to, And yeah, the mother was attacked as well. So we have to stay on top of the propaganda, these news stories, because in almost every article, it contradicts the lies, the propaganda that they put out about how there's always a reason why dogs attack. There's always a reason. And there's always signs that the dogs give off before they attack. You must have provoked them in some way. You did something. And almost every report proves that that is an outright lie. These things will attack you for absolutely no reason. Dogs just enjoy attacking other living organisms. They get off on killing. They're bloodthirsty mutants. Now, we heard about Joe Biden's shelter dogs. Got to emphasize that this man went and adopted some shelter mutts. We heard about the first time the mutt bit someone. Well, it has bit someone else. The same mutt bit a second victim. So we have one of these deranged, brain-damaged dog nuts in the White House. I would gladly re-elect Donald Trump if I had to choose between Trump and Joe Biden. Again, Joe Biden is probably more racist than Donald Trump. And no matter what we think about Trump, as far as a president, he has never passed any laws that has had a direct negative impact on black people. This man, Joe Biden, this is going to be some of the worst 4 years of our life. He's already setting up the dice. I knew as soon as he brought these mutts into the White House that there was a problem. The Biden's dog Major has been involved in another biting incident that required medical attention. So these victims belong to that 800,000 or so victims who need medical attention every year. Right? So we have a prime example in the White House. The employee was working at the time and needed to stop in order to receive treatment from the White House medical unit. First Lady Jill Biden's press secretary, Michelle LaRosa, told CNN that Major is, quote, still adjusting to his new surroundings. So mutts adjust to their new surroundings by attacking people. That's the logic here, people. Make sense out of that. Good luck. Good luck with that. Who adapts to new surroundings by attacking people? How is attacking people going to help you feel more at home? Is it that it feels territorial? It's not territorial. They haven't even established their own territory if they enter into new surroundings, especially you're talking about the White House, extensive land. How is attacking people going to help you feel more at home where you are? No. These things just enjoy harming other living organisms. And it just speaks to how much they are mutants and unnatural to this planet. Another example of why they need to be exterminated. And I believe Joe Biden actually said this. He said, yes, Major nipped someone on a walk. Out of an abundance of caution, the individual was seen by the medical unit, then returned to work without injury. But Joe Biden also said that this dog is a sweet dog. White House press secretary referred to the injury as minor and chalked it up as behavior to getting acclimated and accustomed to their new surroundings and new people. Anything that gets acclimated and accustomed to new surroundings by attacking people has no business in our society. Definitely no business in the White House, no business in anybody's house. Every time they open their mouth about these mutants, they incriminate themselves. They help me to build my case against them. So it's trying to acclimate, get accustomed to new surroundings and new people by attacking these new people. That's supposed to make sense. And they say it as if you're supposed to understand. Like, oh, okay, of course. Oh, it's attacking people. getting acclimated. Oh, okay, I understand that. No, it makes no sense. Ridiculous. Major was surprised by an unfamiliar person. He's a sweet dog. 85% of the people there love him. This is what Joe Biden said. You notice how he said 85%? Right? Hats off to the remaining 15%. I would like to talk to them. I'd like to talk to them. That remaining 15%. He was very careful in the percent that he chose. 85% of the people there love him. All he does is lick them and wag his tail. But I realize some people, understandably, are afraid of dogs to begin with. That is a quote from Joe Biden, right? I don't understand why they always talk about dogs wagging their tails, as if that's supposed to mean something. No matter what dogs do, they wag their tail. Why do they keep bringing that up? They also talk about dogs wagging their tail as a sign that the dog is harmless. I've seen dogs wagging their tails as they're attacking people. After they've killed someone, they wag their tail. What are you talking about? These people say some of the craziest things. It's unbelievable. Yes, these are sweet doggy kisses. Doggy kisses. These brain damaged airhead people. I mean, they infuriate me to no end. I'd be surprised if Joe Biden manages to live out. Yeah, I'll be surprised if Joe Biden lives out his term as well. I think there's a good chance he's going to trip and fall and hit his head, right? He's going to fall down some stairs or something. The man is too old and feeble to be in there. And he is definitely not the type of person you should trust with dogs, let alone shelter dogs. This guy didn't buy, adopted fully grown dogs. And this is an old, feeble man. So he's getting people hurt already. These dog nuts are dangerous. Like I said, to everybody that's around them. Already, this guy, Joe Biden, being a dog nut, has gotten 2 different people bitten. And they need medical attention. Yeah, these are love bites. 2 people already. So thank you, Joe Biden, for helping me to build my case against the presence of these worthless mutts. Right? A prime example. And this is so ironic because I was talking about on a different stream how I respect Donald Trump's rejection of dogs in public. He rejected dogs right in front of a bunch of dog lovers. I respected that. And here it's like poetic justice. Here's what can happen when you are a dog nut president. You're going to get people who are around you trying to protect you. You're going to get those same people hurt. So this is problematic. And I read one more article that infuriated me. And it was a long article. I'm not going to cover it all on this stream, but it was titled, Dog Owners Can Be Charged in Fatal Attacks, but it can be hard to prove, expert says. They say a prosecutor would have to prove that an owner of an attacking dog either set the dog on someone purposely or they were so reckless as an owner that he or she allowed the attack even without intending for it to happen. What that is supposed to mean is beyond me. If they allowed the attack, what do you mean? They could not have possibly not intended for it to happen if they allowed it. But let's say they're talking about the dog nuts who don't think that the dogs will attack someone, right? They have this, they're brainwashed by the propaganda. But this lawyer, I believe this was a lawyer saying this, says determining what conduct by a dog owner counts as reckless could be more complicated. For instance, you could have an owner who lets their dog wander in violation of local rules, but there is no evidence that the person knew their dog was dangerous. Doesn't this sound ridiculous to you all? If you got a big dog, that's the evidence that it's dangerous. Whether or not it actually attacks someone is irrelevant. All it needs to do is be capable of mutilating someone. That's a dangerous dog. I don't buy these laws that it has to attack someone before it's considered dangerous. No, it's dangerous before it attacks someone. I can't walk into businesses and establishments with guns in my hand, right? They're going to consider me a threat. I'm a danger to the public. You can't do that. But I haven't shot anyone. No. You got to wait until I shoot someone, just like a dog is supposed to attack someone before they're considered dangerous. What kind of sense does that make? It says, or you could have another person who knows their dog has bitten people and so tries to keep it locked in a fenced yard, but someone accidentally leaves the gate open. So if someone accidentally left the gate open and the dog attacked someone, you could not prove, that the dog owner was responsible and that the dog owner should be charged. That's nonsense. This is all a bunch of nonsense to me. Either situation could result in a horrific attack, but a prosecutor has to consider whether it rises to the level of reckless criminal behavior as opposed to just negligence or an accident. Attacks are never an accident. They are deliberate. They are intended to happen by the dog. When a dog attacks something or someone, it knows what it's doing. Its intent is to attack, mutilate, to kill. If you're going to give the dog credit when it behaves properly, you're going to have to credit the dog, point at the dog itself when it attacks someone. You can't have it both ways, right? I've talked about this before. These people, they want to say, oh, it's all the dog. It's all on the dog. Give the dog credit for behaving properly. Okay. So when it attacks someone, we're going to look at the dog as well, right? We're going to keep that same energy. So I don't buy this. Like I've said before, if you purchase a dog, that is reckless. That is reckless. Because these are wild, dangerous, lethal predators. There's no guarantee that you're going to be able to protect everyone in the society. Most likely you won't. As it is, there are over 2,000 people who need medical attention every day as a result from a dog attack. Over 13,000 people are bitten every single day. So that proves that the mere presence of dogs is the problem. The presence of dogs. I don't want to hear any of that other nonsense. Now, hats off to this man, Assemblyman Wimberly, sponsored the Responsible Dog Ownership Act. At least he's trying. Now, I don't agree fully with his idea, but at least he's trying. He's trying to work within the society that the pro-dog society that we're in. You have to take small steps. Small steps. So the Responsible Dog Ownership Act, following the fatal mauling of a 13-year-old boy that reportedly jumped its fence frequently and scared neighbors. This happens as well all the time. Dogs jump fences. They call the authorities, right? Neighbors will call the authorities. They'll call the dog people. animal control, and they don't do anything. Nothing is done. And eventually somebody gets attacked. Now this bill, it says, which he introduced every 2 years. Every 2 years he would introduce this bill. Would amend the Endangering the Welfare of a Child statute to make it a crime if you recklessly allow your dog to be off leash and it kills or causes injuries to a child. Right? So at least he's trying. At least he's trying. So if you allow your dog to be off leash, and that's another problem. These people, they should be required to have dogs on a leash even if they have a fence. Why isn't that the law as well, people? Some people do that, don't they? They'll put the dog on a really long leash even though they have a fence. They don't even do that. So he's saying that those people should be punished. I don't care if you have a fence, if your mutt is, and really, if it's on leash and the dog drags its owner to a victim and attacks the victim, the owner should be charged. I don't want to hear this rhetoric about a leash. Oh, if it's off leash, okay, so if it's leashed and it drags its owner to a victim and attacks them, suddenly the owner is not responsible? No, I can't buy that either. But at least this man tried. At least he's trying. As far as I know, he's still making attempts to get this passed. But make no mistake about it, people. Do not fall for the propaganda. Do not fall for the propaganda. The numbers are real. The numbers are increasing gradually. Over 13,000 people bitten every day. Over half the victims are under 13. The majority of them, I believe, are between 5 and 7 years old. Something ridiculously low. Toddlers who cannot defend themselves whatsoever. All they can do is scream, which is going to make the dog attack even more vigorously. We're talking over 2,000 emergency room visits per day. That's an excuse. There's no excuse for that. There's no way to rationalize that. I don't want to hear about training or the proper way you raise it or none of that nonsense. These dog nuts have been talking that nonsense for decades now, and the numbers are only going up. So this rhetoric is worthless. It's worthless. And at the same time that they spew this rhetoric, they put more and more videos, more on social media, pro-dog videos, projecting dogs as harmless, as angels, more movies, right? You see them on more movies, more commercials. The higher the victims, the higher the numbers of victims get, the more society projects dogs as harmless. That propaganda has to be tackled. That has to be tackled, because that itself, in my opinion, is very criminal. That's criminal, people. And we're talking about between 70 and 80 mutilations per day in the United States. However you're mutilated, it could be a chunk ripped out of your leg, out of your arm. It can be a real bad mutilation where, a child's face is torn all apart, whatever. Between 70 and 80 per day, that's a lot. And that's just mutilations. Like, what if I asked you to draw 80 circles on this map every day? That's a lot, man. I don't care how much it is compared to the complete population of the country. That's a lot. We're talking about mutilations. These things have no business in our society. It should be considered a crime to bring them into the neighborhood. Anybody caught with a dog in the community should be arrested. It should be considered an even bigger crime to bring these things into a home where kids are present. Now you have a child endangerment charge to deal with. I don't want to hear anything else. That's just the way that is. Dogs should be exterminated from this planet. There is no way to show mercy to these brain damaged mutants. They should have never been bred into existence to begin with. We cannot release them into the wild like we did, like we saw with this deer, right? They let the deer go. We can't release dogs into the wild just like we do with all other animals, because they will make their way back into human territory. And the first thing they will do is look for someone to attack. They are obsessed with attacking people. That is what sets dogs apart from all other animals on this planet. They have a strong desire to attack people for absolutely no reason. Just to attack them. Just to see them bleed. Just to exercise dominance. No other animal behaves like that. And we need to act on that fact. Everybody who takes selfies, these stupid selfies on social media, you are a bumbling weirdo. All of you have sex with these mutants. I want everybody who is not a dog nut to assume that all of these dog nuts have intercourse with these mutants. These people deserve that type of attention. You know, when you engage in weird behavior and it gets weirder and weirder, at some point, other people need to point that out. They need to put you on the spot and treat you exactly the way your behavior warrants. You want to treat a dog like a human? You want to stoop down to the level of a dog? Well, you should be treated like you're a dog yourself. If dogs are kissing, right? If you're kissing another man, I'm going to assume that you're intimate with them. Right? So all you dog nuts, you like to kiss your mutt. I'm going to assume you're intimate with it. You are intimate. You are intimate. I'm going to assume you're having actual intercourse. I don't care if you actually are or not. I'm going to assume that you are. And even if you're not, the intimacy you show is overboard. Kissing these disease-ridden, ugly, nasty, sloppy-faced mutants. This is weirdo behavior. Dogs do not make you look more attractive. They make you look like an idiot, like a weirdo. You have nasty homes. You stink. Your cars stink. You're full of germs. You're always coughing and sneezing. You always got some type of skin rash or some skin infection that you got from your nasty mutt. Your home smell like dog feces and dog urine. You have personality disorders. And you will only get well when you stop being a dog nut. We need to shame these people out of this shameful behavior. We have to. Yeah, you know, I need to really do a whole video on dog barking. I mean, it really is a problem. I was reading an article the other day about how it affects a lot of people's brains, and the people themselves, they don't even know it. How their emotions are being manipulated in a negative way from constant barking from dogs. You know, barking itself shows you dogs are not natural to this planet because dogs are predators. No other predators gives up their location like that. Just sitting around making noise, barking, scaring all the prey away. Lions will roar, but they're not going to stalk prey and start roaring at no prey. They're quiet. They stoop down, they crawl, they're slow. Dogs don't do that. They can't do that. They don't fit onto this planet at all in any part of our world. And any relationship with these worthless mutants should be called out. And these people should be publicly shamed. Right? So I want to thank everyone who came to this stream. I will definitely have another one before another 2 weeks is up. That was far too long. I want to thank everyone who contributed to the Crusader Ministries. And do not worry, we will continue with this merciless crusade against these worthless mutants and their enabling owners.